going to show you guys how to do a scallop braid for horses with a long mane. First off, make sure the mane is brushed through thoroughly. You don't want any tangles. Next, I'm going to look at the neck. This is going to determine spacing and how high I want the arch. Then I'm going to section out the mane and band each section. This is easier than braiding as you go. Always section first. You can either use quick braid, water, or hairspray. I'm using water for this video. Most of the time I use quick braid though. Start the braid loose at the top and tight at the bottom. This is going to help prevent the horses from rubbing, and otherwise if you get it too tight at the top, you're not going to be able to get that braid through. Because you're going to be taking this rubber band out anyway, you don't have to put it on really tight. So I put my finger through the middle of the braid. You can also use a pull through. I just use my finger. But as I put the tail end of that braid through, I keep my finger in there. Otherwise, the braid can sometimes get caught on hair. So I use my finger to hold that place for the braid. So then you just pull that little piece through, and then I wet down the next section of the mane and start braiding again, loose at the top, tight at the bottom. But when you take the tail end from the previous braid over, you want to undo that elastic, and then you're going to take that piece and put it into the middle section of the next braid. Always use the same color of rubber band to your horse's mane. For this video, I was doing gray, that way you guys could see it. So once again, the tail end of the previous braid goes over to the middle section of your next braid. Start loose at the top, tight at the bottom. And you don't have to take your braid all the way down to the end of the mane, depending on how long your horse's mane is. But because you're going to be taking that out anyway for the next braid, once it loops into the next braid, you don't have to go all the way down. So here I am just securing the end with a elastic. And here you can see how far down I went with that braid. Here's what it looks like from the top. Now you can play with the size of the arch depending on the size of your horse's neck. You can either enhance the neck or kind of tone it down a little bit. If you braid too tight at the top, you can't get the braid through. When I loop the end of the braid, I take the braid, not the rubber band area, because if the rubber band's too loose, it'll slide through. Depending on how tight you pull that braid through, that's going to determine the size of your button. I have only tried it once where I just loop the hair over instead of braiding the arch. I don't recommend this because it does not hold and it doesn't look nearly as nice because the braids have to be really close.